Have you ever felt?
Are you listening? Damn. Yeah. Yeah.
Ready yet?
Go ahead. Whoa.
Whoa, you don't have to do that. That almost knocked us.
I don't have any big waves.
Good job.
Good yet?
Good afternoon. Welcome to the party. That's kind of what I feel like today. It's like, you know, I'm trying to mind my own business, taking care of whatever I've got going on, and it was just nothing but a surprise party all day long. Surprise, surprise, surprise. It wasn't really a surprise party by my definition. By speaking of that, it seems like my version of what's clear, not clear, or to be done, not to be done, what's right and what's wrong, is much different than, let's just broadly say, everyone else. And I know you can relate. Everyone can relate. It's like, I can see what I think is right or wrong, or black or white, or good or bad. And then I present those options to the next person, and they just don't even see it. Not even on the same page. You go, how can you not see it? So instead of me saying, well, how can you not see it? I said, well, what do you see? And then they explain what they think is right or wrong, and I'm blown away. But then I'm reminded why they're working for me, and if not, I'd be working for them. But then when I go to a customer, and I make a wonderful presentation, and I'm doing a song and a dance. I refer to myself as a dancing chicken. You know, the only way to make a chicken dance is turn the heat up. The little feet start burning and they start hopping all around. That doesn't actually happen. I've never actually, turned the heat up on a chicken. I'm referring to myself, so, before someone accuses me of being cruel to a chicken standing on a hot plate, that I'm going to turn it on. I don't know. That just goes to show the type of day, the type of people that I've had to deal with today. So clearly, I don't understand why I see things one way and everyone else sees things an entirely different way. But then I go to a customer, and then I'm like, here's what I can do, and here's how I do it. And they're like, what? 14 people have to have a discussion about what I've just proposed, and nobody understands. And I'm like, but I work for you. Now I'm scared because I just had the same conversation with some of my employees who work for me, and they don't understand. And I'm like, but now I know how I just made that employee feel. The employee's like, Dave, I don't see it. I don't understand how you see it this way. I see it this way. I'm like, I feel like I'm standing on my head, and all the blood is just rushing down, and I see everything upside down. So why does it work? Whatever it is that I'm doing is working, and whatever they're doing is not working, because what they're doing is upsetting my customer. But wait a minute, what I'm doing is upsetting my customer. So maybe what I'm doing isn't really working. It's all the matrix. That's it. That's it. So it's like in every one of my videos, I always include a little one-liner. It's like a mystery of what movie it come from. I know nobody's even noticed, but it's pretty amusing. And it's like this case here. It's like it's an alternate reality that it doesn't make any sense whether it's my employee or myself. Can't get synced up, basically. I feel like I'm out of time. I'm out of step. We're at a dance, and I'm dancing, and I just can't, me and my partner just can't get in tune. Can't carry a note if it was in a bag. That's what my grandmother used to tell me. You can't carry notes. Good thing you're not trying to be a singer. It is a good thing I'm not trying to be a singer, because I would be I would be a horrible singer. But I'm starting to think I'm pretty much a horrible salesperson too, because I'm like, I don't understand what needs. I found my glasses, by the way. I know anybody that was concerned about my last video. Been extremely tired the last couple of days. Life is making me incredibly tired. But you saw from the very clip at the beginning of the video, it was boat weekend. Time to take the kids out on the boat. When the kids start going, Dad, do we have a boat? I'm like, yeah, we have a boat. I don't remember it. I'm like, does that make me a bad dad? I'm like, well, I we have a baby, so I can't take the baby on the boat. You can't take a baby on a boat before they're 6 months old. But I disagree with that. I think you shouldn't take the baby on the boat before he's like a year and a half old. And he's a year and a half old, so we have not been on our boat in, well, I didn't take my incredibly pregnant wife. So at a year and a half ago, I wouldn't have taken her on the boat because she would have been incredibly, I just picture the big belly mark, boom, 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 going. Anyway, sorry. That's a horrible picture, and I would not do that to her. Well, there was this one time at band camp when no, never mind. I wouldn't do that. So the kids started going, hey, do we have a boat? Our friends are going out on their boat. Do we have a boat? We have a boat. So we went out on the boat. I clipped that onto the beginning of the video. You know, I run all those little clips in high speed because most of it, nobody actually is just like, oh yeah, look at that, great, they're on a boat. That's pretty much it. But it's a little entertaining, and it's always a fill point to everything else going on in everyone's life. Our lives are not always, as much as we want to believe, trapped. We are not trapped. We are not being forced to do anything. Leads me into the next segment of no one's forcing anyone to do anything. So I had a conversation with a friend of mine's teenager, and they're like, I'm forced to get up and go to school. I said, well, so what's the alternative? Well, no one would force me. They wouldn't make me. Okay. Well, tell me what would happen if no one made you go to school. Well, I wouldn't go to school. That's right. And then what? There is no then what. And I said, exactly. Because that's going to be what the rest of your life is like. A whole bunch of nothing. Because if you don't go to school, and you don't get some form of an education, have some idea of what's going on, it makes the world click and clack and tick, it's going to be a void of emptiness, and you're going to be miserable. At some point, you're going to wake up and go, wow, I really wish that I would have learned something. But you know what I know is you can't tell a teenager that. They don't understand. They don't understand why they don't have a freedom of choice. And so, in a way, yes, they are forced to do something that they don't want to do, but it's only because, well, they can't make a good judgment. So then we fast forward our lives up to when you can make a good decision, which leads me back to the beginning of my video, that I see things differently than they see things differently, than you see things differently, and we all see things differently. So how do you get yourself in a position to have a clear understanding of what it would take to start, let's just say, pleasing everyone? Because that's really my goal, right? I want everyone to be happy, whether it's my wife, my kids, my friends. Something bad happens to my friends, and I'm sorry. I don't want anything bad to happen to my friends, and I'm sorry that it's happened. And then I explore the choices that led up to that. Sometimes you're just driving along and a car hits you. Well, yes. I met a guy at a motorcycle shop one time. I had a motorcycle once. And this guy was telling me that he was in a horrific motorcycle accident. And my first response is, were you going 100 miles an hour weaving in traffic? And he goes, oddly, I was not. I was sitting at a traffic light on my motorcycle. The incoming traffic, the car coming towards me, lost control, flipped over in the middle of the intersection and landed on me. And he lived to tell me that story. That's a fixed target. How many times in your life have you felt like you were just a fixed target? Like, I'm not doing anything wrong and everything is just like chasing me down, trying to flip over and land on me. I won't say that's what today was, but I was definitely a fixed target. Definitely. And sometimes we're all fixed targets. Sometimes the choices that we make cannot change the outcome of a day. Did I say that right? The choices that we make cannot change it. That is correct. Sometimes the choices that we make will not affect the outcome. The outcome is going to be the outcome. That car is going to come through that intersection. It's going to flip over. So you could have made a choice to not be at that intersection at that time, but then it would be the Matrix, wouldn't it? It would be all over again, because it was like, well, back when I decided to leave the office, I should have left 5 minutes before that? Or I should have left later. Today was an interesting day, that no matter what the choice that I made, it did not change the outcome of the day. And I like to believe that most of the choices that I make on any given day would affect the outcome. But a today like today begs that question. Very few of our choices affect the outcome of the day. Nothing that I would do would have changed the conversation that I had with the customer. Now, the conversation that I had with the customer, I could control easily, but I could not stop that customer from calling me. I could have not taken the phone call. It's all about choices. And whether we're forced to do what we do or not, we do what we do because we want to. Does that mean we want to make the wrong choice? But sometimes we think it's the right choice, and it's not the wrong choice. Today was just that day for me, where it didn't matter what choice I made. It wasn't wrong. It wasn't right. The day is over. I'm making my drive home. And if you agree, you can just golf clap silently like, yep, Dave, I was right there, and oddly, I couldn't quite put my finger on it. I didn't really understand what was going on, because it didn't make a lot of sense. And I didn't want to spend too much time worrying over the whole thing, because the more time I spent worrying about what was actually going on and what was causing all this would have taken more time out of my already strangely ridiculous day that didn't make any sense anyway. It was like, I could have stayed home and probably endured the same thing. But then I couldn't do that either, because, well, that would be no fun. We have to make what we're doing fun. We have to enjoy it, no matter how hard it is or how easy. Because most days things are, pretty easy. Last week things were harder than they should have been. Maybe I made it that way. Maybe I didn't. This was the Matrix video. That's what I feel like. It doesn't matter what choice we made. We could have done this or could have done that. And what would the outcome actually be through all of the choices that we made? And how far apart are those choices? What are the wording that we use to respond to customers? The tone, the phrases. I'm Dave. And today was a very confusing day. And I will see you soon.